tell you, folks like me tried to tell NABJ it was an awful idea to bring down Trump, especially with the panelists who were questioning him today. It was supposed to start around noon, did not get started late. And what did he do? He came out there immediately insulting NABJ, talking about how he had him waiting 35 minutes. They put out a tweet claiming the audio was bad. That was an absolute lie. The real issue backstage, the Trump people did not want to be fact-checked in real time by PolitiFact. In fact, it didn't take Donald Trump any time at all to do what he is very good at, that is insulting black female journalists. This was the first question asked by Rachel Scott of ABC. Listen to this shameful response.
Exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden.
Come back. Okay, first of all, folks, I need the control room. I need her question. I need you to play her question and then hear his answer. Okay? So let me know when y'all have that. Okay, now y'all got it? Play it.
About some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe that black voters should trust you with another 4 years.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always
But you know
identified as a
what?
black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that interview.
You told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are...
Okay, pause right there. Okay, first of all, there's no way in hell I'm going to let y'all even go and run that shameful, despicable question from Harris Faulkner, who was a total embarrassment on the panel today. The young lady, I don't have her name, from Semaphore, she had no business being on that panel. The only person on that panel, the three people asking questions, who brought credibility, who brought toughness, and who was trying to hold Donald Trump accountable was Rachel Scott from ABC News. I saw Lindsay Davis in the hallway before I came out here, and I told Lindsay, I'm going to personally tell Rachel that she was absolutely amazing. The other two were useless. Their questions were ridiculous. You did not hear questions specifically pertaining to African Americans. I don't know what the hell Harris Faulkner was talking about. Oh, tell us about why you picked J.D. Vance. And Donald Trump sits there and then gives us a whole damn rundown of his resume. But that was a complete waste of our time. It was a debacle. And also, how the format was set up, had them sitting in these plush chairs. No, it should have had his ass standing at a podium, them at a table, drilling him with questions. Also, NABJ said, oh, we're going to have real-time fact-checking. Not on stage. So what the hell was that about? There was absolutely nothing about this so-called discussion that was worthy to be held here. Nothing. What do we gain from it? Nothing. He showed exactly who he is, a total asshole who says things about black people that are shameful, pathetic, and despicable. Donald Trump showed us exactly who he was. But NABJ embarrassed themselves when it came to the ground rules that were taking place. Well, they established it was not a strong panel other than Rachel Scott. How the format made no sense whatsoever. And let me tell you something right here. The moment Donald Trump insulted Rachel Scott, somebody in leadership of NABJ should have stood up and said, wait a minute, you have consistently insulted black female journalists, including April Ryan, including Yamiche Alcindor, who was sitting there on the second row there. You are not going to do that. We're going to have a respectful conversation, but you are not going to be insulting our members. And nobody did that. They allowed those three sisters to sit up there defenseless against the constant barrage of attacks from Donald Trump, calling ABC News fake news. That's why he also shouldn't have been invited, because that's what he does, talking about fake news. This man has had a war against media because he cannot stand being fact-checked. He cannot stand being held accountable. And so what you heard was him repeatedly, over and over and over and over and over again, lie in that session today. Okay? There was no false pretenses. It wasn't, oh, if she comes, you come. That was never the case, and he knows it. So he lied about that. Now, I was told that the audio company, that when he got there, they said audio went out. I don't know what the hell this, Encore, I don't know what the hell that company was about. I don't know what the hell they were doing, because guess what? We were sitting in there. You can hear the voice of God person, announcer. You can hear the music playing. So that made no sense whatsoever. And so he tried to sit here and try to portray black people as being, color folk, color time, being late. That's what he actually tried to do. And so it made no sense whatsoever. NABJ made us look weak. People all around the country and the world are talking about this here. Very few people are defending what actually took place. And again, if you out there and you black and you even think about voting for Donald Trump after what he did there, it was lies. He sat there, talked about HBCU funding. Oh, they were going broke. I guarantee their funding. That was an absolute lie. Undoubtedly a 100% lie. oh, these immigrants, they're taking your black jobs. Lie. The serial liar showed us exactly who he is. I think you got some other clips. Y'all can play the next clip. Let's see what this fool, what else this fool had to say.
Divided along.
People from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened.
Again, I can't even play. I can't even assault the eardrums and the brain cells of the folks who are watching and listening any longer. Again, what you're hearing right there is an absolute, complete, undoubtedly liar. 50, 60, 70 million. That is what he does. And this is why you do not platform serial liars, because they are going to lie. This is why you have to fact check on stage to his face in real time. This is why you have to shut him down. And listen, again, Rachel handled herself. This is also why I made clear you need a black man on that stage. I was critical that you did not have a black male journalist. Let me be real clear. If they had 3 black men and no sisters, the sister would be upset. And I'll be sitting right there with them saying there should be a sister on this doggone stage. But what I'm trying to explain to folks is that you saw evil on display. You saw how this man will say whatever, who will insult people. He has no decency. He has no morals. He has no values. He has no integrity. Even his own nephew has talked about his racism. Even his own sister has talked about the kind of person that he is. I want to bring in our panel right now, and I'm sure they can't wait to say something. Robert Patillo, host, People, Passion, Politics, 1380 WAOK, out of Atlanta. Monique Presley, legal analyst, host, Make Sense with Monique Presley. Joy Cheney, founder of JOI Strategies. Glad to have all 3 of you on the panel. We don't have Monique yet, so let me know, y'all, when she's there. Robert, your assessment of that crap that we witnessed today here in Chicago.
Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I think it could have been a constructive argument. It could have been something where we actually got a contrast between both parties and what the positions were for the African-American community. What we got was what we saw, which is the standard Trump lies, obfuscations, filibustering, running out the clock when there are tough questions that he doesn't want to answer. And there was very little information portrayed. I still have no idea what President Trump's policy is on healthcare. I don't know what President Trump's policy is on education. I don't know what his policy is on criminal justice reform or infrastructure. I don't know what his policy is on Social Security or Medicare or any entitlement programs. And the fact that we can't get these fundamental questions answered is why you cannot platform President Trump unless it's in such a way that you can Trump-proof the event. Think about the rules that President Biden had to put in place just to try to contain Trump during the first debate. The saying that you have to have a timer, saying that you have to turn off his microphone, that you have to be able to fact check him in real time. These are things that you have to do because otherwise you see what he is a master at turning this into a 1990s Howard Stern radio interview, changing the topic and running out the clock because he understands he does not have to and does not have any intention to actually answering big questions. But from the Trump side of things, this was an opportunity for him to really portray what should attract African Americans to his campaign. We've seen a recent polling that that even with the switch to Kamala Harris, that Kamala Harris is getting about 70% black votes in the recent CNN poll compared to over 90% that President Biden got in 2020. As she introduces herself to the country, does more rallies that she did in Atlanta yesterday, that will continue to increase. But this was President Trump's opportunity to really portray to the African-American community nationwide that he is going to need to carry states like Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. He's going to need the black vote to help push him over the line there. He made no progress in actually saying what his policies will be for those communities and how electing him again will not take us back to a place where many African Americans were uncomfortable at in 2020 and in the first term of his administration. He did nothing to dissuade the concerns people have about Project 2025, which very much aims to overturning every piece of progress we made during the civil rights movement in the 1960s until today. So I think it was overall a failed event, but I do hope that there will be other opportunities in the next 100 days for President Trump to address the African-American community, present his record, and actually answer the hard questions. It just can't be thrown together in a couple of days. It can't be in that type of format, as you said. You have to Trump-proof it, but I think we do need to hear his answer to what he means and what he intends to do for the black community.
But he's not going to answer those questions, Joy. We know exactly what the hell's going on here. And so what his whole job there was to filibuster. He just ran roughshod over every single question. When they tried to push, when they tried to push back, and really, really it was Rachel who was the only one who was really trying to push back. Harris, I don't know what the hell she was doing. And so it really was an abomination. Is Joy there? Joy's up there. Let's go to Monique.
Yeah, listen, it's not normal time.
Okay, Joy, go right ahead.
Can you hear me? Donald Trump isn't normal.
Yep, go right ahead.
And I think I can hear you, but I don't. Can you hear me?
We hear you. Go ahead.
Joy, right. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Donald Trump is not normal. He is just a complete aberration. He is not someone that you can say, I'm going to have this guy on. He's going to share his policies. He's going to move forward. It's not that. And I think all of our groups, including some of the groups that I advise, we learned a lot today. You cannot simply have him on. Robert is absolutely right. You can't simply have him on, and you may not be able to have him on at all because he doesn't want to abide by rules that are about showing who he is as a candidate and what he would bring to the table. Or maybe that is what he's showing. He's a fool. He's engaged in insult. He's engaged in playing and circus making. This was not about bringing on black voters. This was about ginning up what he perceives to be is a white male racist base. That's what this is. He was performing for them, throwing things at the wall, seeing what might stick, right? I mean, it's almost like improvisational performance art. And we have to put it in the proper context. You can't be serious when you're dealing with a clown. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, sir? Either you live by these rules so that we can actually have a real discussion, or you don't show up at all.
Or you don't invite him because you know what he is going to do. Guys, Monique said her signal is freezing. We're trying to actually get her back on. There was a question that was asked regarding Sonia Massey. And my God, ask the question. Kadia Gobas with Semaphore. And again, I mean, I don't know who she is. You know what? I'm sorry. Somebody has to say it. Kadia Goba should not have been on that stage. So here was a Sonia Massey question.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact...
Right there. So pause. Okay, so here's why I was kicked off by listening to that. First of all, Sonia Massey, unarmed woman in her home, shot. No, she was shot and killed. She was shot in the face by the officer as she was boiling a pot of hot water. She says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Then he shot and killed. Well, she didn't say how the sheriff has apologized. Then she says, well, you said immunity. No, he said 100% immunity for all police officers so they can do their job. Here's the other thing which I don't understand, NABJ. Why in the hell are you not rolling clips? Why are you not saying, this is what you said, play the video? I mean, I don't understand that. We produce television every single day. How about you actually produce this questioning? So anyway, play his pathetic answer.
But I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
They're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 100.
Stop the video. Classic. Guys, when I say stop it, you should have stopped it. Here's the deal. That's classic Trump. It's classic Trump. Pivot. Don't want to actually answer the question. That's where you say, no, 1 second. Well, it depends upon the circumstances. Here were the circumstances. She felt that was an intruder. She called the cops. She ends up dead. The cop who shot her didn't turn his body camera on. His partner did. That's when you ask the question and you fill in the details. You do not allow somebody to just ramble and ramble and ramble. And then what does he do? He then shifts the conversation. Well, let's talk about Chicago. This happened over July weekend. They had more than 100 shootings. Now, if he goes there, then you say, okay, we want to talk about Chicago shootings. Let's talk about gun control. Let's talk about how most of the guns in Chicago come from across the border in Indiana, where your former VP, the one you love to have killed, was the governor there. See, you do not let him out of the box. That's what you do not do. That's exactly what we saw happen. And so here's more of his rambling answer.
17 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those distinctions?
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine an innocent mistake? You go
after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing, because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of...
Right there. Stop right there. Oh, my God. Stop right there. That man just sat there and said, well, things happen in a split second. How does nobody say, sir, but she's dead? Sonia Massey is dead. And then what you then do is recount the other black people who are dead. You press the point and say, that split second determines life or death. But you want to give them immunity. Guess what you didn't hear? You didn't hear anybody say, because when you were president, you had Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr who says we're going to pull back on consent decrees because it's going to hurt the morale of cops. Then you had somebody has to say, I'm sorry, there was only one police patterns and practices investigation that took place in your 4 years. Under Biden-Harris, it's 12. You heard none of that. You hear none of the press. They allowed this man to ramble. And I swear, Monique, if we were in a courtroom, somebody would object and the judge would turn to the witness and say, I need you to answer the question.
Yes, but that wouldn't have worked here either. I think the point, though I understand that better journalists could have done a better job, and I agree with you, hats off to Rachel Scott for doing a yeoman's job today. And then there, the young woman in the middle was inexperienced, and perhaps they selected her to represent in that manner. And then there's Harris. But he was going to lie no matter how much he was pressed. The only issue really is whether the journalist who is speaking spoke with more facts or not. The bigger issue for me is it shouldn't have happened. It was inappropriate. It was not the right forum. It was bad decision-making on the part of the organization to bring the rapist into the house, invited to sit at the table to rape us again. And that's what it looked like to me. That was my experience and that of so many others who have been speaking with about it. That's not the way we should run our households. NABJ is not a media outlet. And so what was done could have been done if these journalists wanted to interview this man and let him lie kind of on their own time, their own dime, not at the convention, then it's their obligation to try to get answers out of him. But I don't think that it would have mattered. I think that any good journalist would still be stuck with the first question because he was never going to answer.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
I'm in shock.
For curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. Look at this video and you be the judge. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat and try it, they don't believe it's their hair. Buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use code ROLAND, that's ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. It's all at curlprep.com. Use code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount.
Wednesday, when Donald Trump spoke at NABJ, he came out whining and complaining about the microphones not working, y'all were late, y'all had me waiting 35 minutes, and he was just whining. He was lying. Before it came out, my frat brother, Phil Lewis, showed a photo I just sent y'all. Phil and I took a photo today. I need to show him some love. Phil, this is the photo of Phil. Okay, so I want to show you. I'll show the brother some love. This is the tweet that he posted on Wednesday with regards to why the program was late. It was supposed to start at 12 noon, did not start. He said, "I'm told that Trump is demanding that NABJ not do the live fact checking, and that's why the event hasn't started yet." Well, today, Axios reported this scoop that was the case. If y'all pull up their story. So they claim that backstage, the president, Ken Lemon, said that the mic issue was resolved quickly, that the Trump people did not want live fact checking to take place. Lemon was preparing a statement to read as to why Trump basically was going to leave, and then Trump decided to walk out on stage. Lemon confirms this to Axios. Here's my problem. And I've had people come to me, Roland, bruh, do you have to be so hard on NABJ? Yes. Because I believe in transparency. In this case, I believe President Ken Lemon, and I like Ken, I voted for Ken. But in this case, he's failed NABJ. Donald Trump sat on that stage and lied. And they knew he was lying. So they allowed that lie to be stated and to be spread across the nation and the world. And so then you come back and tell Axios what really happened. You don't tell the membership, you tell Axios. I'm not going to let that man sit on stage and basically say, we dealing with CP time here. They 35 minutes late. They ain't got their stuff together. They so weak, their microphones didn't work. That was a lie, and NABJ President Ken Lemon knew it. And what he should have done, the moment Donald Trump lied, he should have said, 1 second, hand me the microphone. He should have said, Donald Trump, he could have called him Mr. Trump if he wanted to. I wouldn't call him Mr. President. He should have said, Donald Trump, as the president of this organization, I cannot allow you to lie to our members or lie to the assembled media or lie to the world. What you just said is a lie. The delay took place because you and your team did not want us to have live fact-checking of your appearance here. You are more than happy. We're more than happy to allow you to give your opinion. But if there's anything that's fake news, it's what you just said. And then he should have went back and sat down. That, for me, I got a problem with that, Matt. I got a problem when you let that man lie and embarrass your organization and you don't correct his ass in real time.
Yeah, I think you've stated it perfectly. I don't know that I have too much to add beyond, I would say that I think we see that often, not even just in the NABJ context, but there is a deference and a diplomacy, a diplomaticness, if you will, paid to blatant dishonesty. And rather than allowing him to say it and then on the back end trying to triage it, you got to cut it off at the pass, like you were saying. Take the mic and say, no, that's not true, particularly when, as he is wont to do, you're playing on racial stereotypes. I mean, as you were saying, it's exactly what I was thinking. It's like he came and said, I'm here with you Negroes. Y'all on CP time, couldn't start on time. Your microphones ain't working. And that isn't true. What's true is you didn't want to be exposed to the live fact checking and you stalled this starting. And it is important that everybody there know that's exactly what it was and not some failing of the membership that makes it look like you did something wrong when you didn't. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And again, Michael, I mean, folks like Red Roland, man, you being too hard on NABJ, you being too hard on the executive director, Drew Berry, you being too hard on Ken Lemon. No, I'm not. I am a 35-year member of this organization. I have given a lot to this organization. I believe in transparency. I believe in truth. I believe that you stand up and you tell people everything that went down. And I'm sorry, you don't tell Axios something before you tell the membership. They could have sent out an e-blast correcting that. But again, you do not let that man lie on stage and you don't come. First of all, do you know what I've just said? The delay was caused because Donald Trump did not want live fact checking.
Right.
And then when he comes out and lies, you don't live fact check him.
Yeah, you know, I read the whole piece today from Axios.com. I saw your post on Instagram on the day of the conference, calling out the lies that the Trump War Room put out, saying that President Trump has been waiting backstage for NABJ to fix their audio issues. And you said that was 100% lie. So I saw that real time when you posted that. And on page 2 of the piece from Axios.com, Ken Lemon says Trump's team eventually asked NABJ not to post the fact checking on its social media platforms or allow the moderator to disclose that there would be fact checking. So, you know, there comes a point you have to show some integrity. And I know Ken Lemon was saying, OK, there were 2,000 people there. They started lining up for 3 hours. But sometimes you just have to say, you know what? It's better that he doesn't take the stage, because not only did he lie, but he continued to attack African-American female journalists like Rachel Scott, who were just doing their job. Rachel Scott of ABC News, just doing their job and holding him accountable because he really didn't want to answer the questions, just like he didn't want to answer the questions in the June 27th debate. So sometimes it's better not to let somebody like that take the stage. But what Donald Trump wanted is he wanted clips that they could play on Fox News to show him engaging with African Americans. And then they say, oh, they were hostile to him except for Harris Faulkner, who's a token at Fox News. Let's just be honest. OK, she didn't ask any really hard pressing questions. I think the last question was about Project 2025, something like that. So this is really problematic. And I think, you know, I'm not a member of NABJ. I have been to an event, a conference or screening of a movie with Spike Lee a few years ago here in Detroit. They got played with this. This is like really embarrassing. And it's caused a rift in NABJ also.
Yeah, I mean, and again, my problem is you let the man lie.
Yes.
And you didn't correct him. And that to me, you got, see, here's the whole deal, Matt, and I think this is the problem. You got a lot of mainstream journalists, they don't want to, no, we can't be confrontational, we can't feel as if, I mean, you got Harris Faulkner, her trifling ass, said yesterday that she felt that Rachel Scott, her opening question was too aggressive and didn't say, glad to have you here, and good afternoon, Mr. Trump, and didn't say, sorry about the assassination attempt 18 days ago, and on and on and on. That ain't her job. They started late. They had finite time. Rachel got right to the questions. That's what you're supposed to do. But I'm just sitting here, I'm like, yo, like these black journalists and other journalists have got to stop this deferential bullshit when you dealing with a bullshit artist. And that's my problem. They want to sit here, no, we can't do that because it's going to look like, we're biased. No. When a person lies, like when they come on this show, if you want to give your opinion, give your opinion. But if your ass lie, I'm going to shut the lie down, set the truth, and then say, go ahead and finish. But I don't understand allowing the lie to stand, and you don't say nothing, even after the thing was over, and he walked off. Man, come on, dog. Man, go ahead.
Again, you said it all. I mean, here's the thing. First,
no. I want you to get your thoughts on. I want to get your thoughts on. I think too many of these mainstream journalists, are being deferential to him and not wanting to push, not wanting to aggressively question. It's just, no, he's a Republican nominee, so, we have to do these things. You ain't dealing with a normal ass person.
No.
Right,
I'll take it a step further. I don't think they're just being deferential. I think sometimes they're afraid. And I don't understand why. Because this is a guy who's, what is it? All hat and no, I can't remember the idiom. But in any event,
all hat, no cattle.
I know, all hat, no cattle. I mean, here's the thing. It's all fluff. It's all hot air. So when he gets pressed on it, he's going to fold like a house of cards. And I don't understand why journalists are not harder hitting on him, especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, but journalistic ethics require that, right? You got to get to the truth. You can't disseminate things you know are dishonest. So especially in a situation like this, because it's always about him and it's always about sound bites and it's always about creating certain impressions. So I don't understand why they didn't take the opportunity to plant the flag here and literally say, we're not going to have this unless you submit to live fact checking, and go out on stage and say, Mr. Trump, however you want to refer to him, does not want to engage in the fact checking. That is something that we are requiring for this event to go on. So it's not going to go on, because then you have the credibility of saying we're doing it the right way and we're not going to allow him to come out and lie, and we're not going to give him deference and a stage on which to do that. And that to me seems to be like the quintessential journalistic ethic that you're required to use. So I don't understand why they did not push him harder here, and why journalists across the board allow him to lie and don't just cut it off at the pass in every instance where they know it's happening.
And Michael, I am so sick of trifling. For her to sit,
you breaking up, bro. Okay, so for Harris Faulkner there to just sit there. Now, keep in mind, Harris Faulkner's from Fox News. Fox News was sued for $708. Fox News paid a settlement of $787 million to Dominion Voting Systems for a lawsuit for spreading lies about the 2020 election. So Harris Faulkner did exactly what I thought she would do, and probably why she was there in the first place. OK, I agree with Roland. There should have been at least one African-American man there on stage. Black media should have been involved as well. Black-owned media should have been involved as well. But I encourage people to look at. I have this fact checking from CNN up here on my computer right now. Fact check: Trump's lie that Harris all of a sudden embraced a black identity. Check that out at CNN.com. Not only does he continue to attack African-American female journalists especially, but then he goes and lies on Vice President Kamala Harris in front of a room full of African-Americans. So, we have to be more responsible, I think, when it comes to who we put on stage, who we allow to go on stage in front of African Americans, especially if they don't agree to being fact checked. Sometimes it's better to just walk away. What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
I agree. Correct. I mean, completely. I think that if you're going to be running for president, you got to be willing to, one, be truthful, and two, put yourself in situations where you're willing to be live fact checked. I mean, the fact that you don't want to be live fact checked shows that you're lying. You know what I'm saying? And it's right. A crazy idea that would be the thing that would keep you from going onto the stage to try to get votes for a contingent of people that are inherently suspicious of you, right? You're trying to get more black votes. So you should take the opportunity to go and avail yourself of whatever opportunity to do that, particularly somewhere as esteemed as an NABJ event. So to say I'm not going to go on if you have live fact checking is absurd, especially because if you're not lying in the instances where you misspeak, you just clarify that. You say, I said Correct. It was 27, it's really 30.
No.
That's my mistake.
Yeah, he can't do that. he can't do that because he's a liar. But again, see, Rachel Scott has been a professional. She didn't question them lame ass questions that Harris Faulkner down there asked. She didn't do that. But for Harris to go, she should have. She was just too aggressive, and just now Harris, your sorry ass didn't like the fact that Rachel hit him with the question about his racist attacks on folk. You ain't like, y'all, why are we showing still photos when we got a video? can y'all help me out? Why are we showing we got video? Why are we showing still photos? Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, you got video, show the damn video. All right. But I'm sitting there like, when she hits him with the question, hey, I just thought that was just too aggressive. No, Harris Faulkner wanted Rachel to kiss his ass. She wanted her to bow down and kiss his feet like Harris does. Well, thank God Rachel Scott ain't lame ass Harris Faulkner, Michael.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. But you have some scared people. You have some scared African Americans in media who are afraid to go after Donald Trump like Rachel Scott did. And, the advantage that you have, Roland, is that, you own your stuff. So you can't be fired. You can go as hard as you need to go. Some of the other journalists, I hate to say it, but some of them, it feels like some of them may be compromised, okay, and are afraid to really go there and hold him accountable like he should be. So, this I think this was this reminds me of like the guy who gave the commencement address to Florida A&M University and turned out to be a fraud also, right? And he was the big hemp multimillionaire. He turned out to be a fraud. This is like really, really bad what happened. But I encourage people to look at the fact checking from CNN.com, look at the fact checking from the New York Times also, because these lies that Donald Trump told, they have to be exposed. And they have to be attached to him, okay? And this is why it was really a big problem with the June 27th debate on CNN when there was no fact checking there, because he told over 30 lies. He told over 30 lies and got away with it. And it's hard to try to put the toothpaste back in the tube after the fact.
Well, I just sit here and just watch this. And again, I'll say this here, and I'm going to close the segment out with this here. Harris Faulkner, keep Rachel Scott's name out your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Go on over there with your Trump-loving network, but keep Rachel Scott's name out your mouth.
Ashe.
Because on that stage, the only person who brought the funk and who was a strong journalist was Rachel Scott of ABC News. And Donald Trump, they ain't fake news. You don't like the fact they don't let your weak ass lie.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
I'm in shock.
For curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. Look at this video and you be the judge. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat and try it, they don't believe it's their hair. Buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use code ROLAND, that's ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. It's all at curlprep.com. Use code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount.
Shelley Winter, conservative talk show host out of Atlanta. He joins us right now. Shelley, your boy looked like a damn fool embarrassing himself. Oh, Kamala Harris, when did she become black? When I met her, she was Indian. And then he starts off immediately insulting Rachel Scott of ABC, who was literally repeating back to him words, his own words. And so do you defend Donald Trump's actions today in Chicago?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure being on here. I appreciate the invitation. But look how you started the question.
You see what I'm saying? This whole day is broken down into exactly how you just started the question. Your boy looked like a damn fool today. Okay, so now where do I go from there? And then you ask me if I'm defending him. Defending what part of a hour?
No. Actually, Shelley, I was very specific, and that is, not Shelley. I was very specific when I said he opened up with not Shelley. Hold on, he opened up with a direct attack on Rachel Scott. Shelley, I will finish the question. You can answer. He opened up with a direct attack on Rachel Scott in terms of where she repeated words that he had actually said, and then the most horrible question, how you just mistreat me, and you know, fake news. You're at ABC. Not wanting to answer the question, he turned it into a personal attack on Rachel Scott. Is that how somebody, a commander-in-chief, should behave?
I don't know if it's a way to behave when you're walking into a hostile, willingly, obviously, into a hostile situation, and you're getting the first question.
The question was hostile?
Question. Well, yeah.
How was it hostile?
I'll tell you, because every single person.
How was it hostile?
Every single person, everything that she asked him was something he was responding to attacks from others. For instance, she said, you attacked 3 African-American female journalists. Well, yeah, he did. He also attacked Jim Acosta. He also attacked Chris Cuomo. He also attacked every reporter who came at him, which is why he came up with the term fake news. Look, if we want to play this game, like Robert said, I thought Harris Faulkner is not getting any credit because she actually asked the best questions, which were, what are you going to do on your first day? Why are you here? What are the policies you want to do for black people?
Actually, her questions were trash. Actually, her questions were trash. Harris Faulkner should have never been on that. Harris Faulkner should have never been on that panel. Harris Faulkner should never be on the panel, or anybody from Fox News, after Fox News settled for $787 million, a lawsuit where they advanced Donald Trump's lies by the 2020 election. They lost their credibility, integrity on that. And she should have not been on that stage.
Double CNN and 3 times MSNBC. You're in this business. No. You know what ratings.
I'm sorry. Were they sued? No. Did Fox News advance lies about the 2020 election? Yes or no?
Did CNN advance lies for 2020 election?
No.
CNN,
this is real basic. Shelley, this what makes no sense. Shelley, what's so silly is you can't even win this argument because Rupert Murdoch had to agree to a $787 million settlement because they knowingly advanced lies, Donald Trump's lies, even though they know it was false.
They knowingly advanced Tucker Carlson's lies, which is why he got fired. So now let's move back to Harris Faulkner.
No, Shelley. See, Shelley, this is the problem. No, Shelley, it wasn't. First of all, Shelley, factually, you're wrong. First of all, Tucker Carlson was rarely even mentioned in the depositions. Lou Dobbs, Maria Bartiromo, and a host of others, Laura Ingraham and others. This was widespread. No, Shelley, we don't lie on this show. Shelley, we don't lie on this show. It was known from the top to bottom. Rupert Murdoch, Suzanne Scott, the CEO. Shelley, hold on. Numerous hosts, numerous reporters, numerous producers, this was a system-wide massive lie, and that's what they did. So how can you say it was just Tucker?
Was Harris Faulkner won? Simple question. No. So let's now go back to why you have me on here.
Harris Faulkner is with a network. Well, first of all, having you on the Trump debacle in NABJ actually changed it. Let me ask you this next question: Do you find it strange that Donald Trump would talk about how, well, I thought she was Indian and now she's claiming she's black? Do you find that to be offensive to African Americans, suggesting that this woman, who's black as well as Indian, where he says, oh, she's now claiming to be black?
I don't, I wouldn't have advised, so let me answer that question, and please give me time to answer it. I didn't, No,
I asked the question. Go get your answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't like the answer. I wouldn't have advised him to answer that, but I do understand the political the political attack in the answer, because what he's doing is he's talking to, because we know there are a number of what I call ADOS people, ADOS type, for lack of a better word. There are a number of African Americans who don't believe she's authentically black. So he's talking to that issue, and he's also playing up the kind of quote unquote, is she phony? Is she playing a game? Is she black when she needs to be something else when she doesn't need to be, married to a white guy? All of those things, that answer. Now, I wouldn't have advised him to answer that way, because I think it would have been, if you call into question too many of things that you've already been attacked on. So I would never have advised it. But politically, and this is all politics, politically, it plays well to that black audience that you're picking up who don't trust her or like her. And we do know, if you step outside your bourgeois boule crew, you know people, working class African Americans, don't trust her and they don't like her. So now that does play well politically. I wouldn't have advised it. Not at all. I would.
Actually, Shelley, I dare say, you can talk about your bourgeois, whatever the heck. I guarantee you, I spend more time around working class black folk, regular black folk, than you can even think about. So that little cute comment, Shelley, that little cute little comment you made there is utterly irrelevant to me. Let me also ask you this here. Shelley, I'm asking you this here. Shelley, first, Shelley, I'm gonna ask you another question. When Donald Trump sat there and began to lie about abortions in the 9th month, that's a lie. That was a flat-out lie. Why does he keep lying about that?
Because there are a number of people on the Republican side who are taking, I forgot the Virginia governor's the candidate. He was a Virginia governor, ran for election again and lost. Terry, I forgot his last name, who had proposed that.
His name is Terry McAuliffe. But it's a lie. It's a lie, and he keeps saying it. So why does he keep advancing a lie?
Well, because there are people who have talked about abortion, late-term abortion. Now, what Republicans are doing is playing the same game that you play.
Is late-term abortion 9th month?
Late-term abortion.
Actually, I don't play games.
You do.
I don't play games. I deal in facts.
There are.
No, I'm not. No, I'm repeating what he said. You're calling it a game. It's not a game to me. This is real life.
And I'm answering the question. The question is that there are Democrats who want late-term abortions. Republicans take that and to mean 8th, 9th month abortions. I don't agree.
But they're lying. They're lying.
What do you mean they're lying? There are Democrats who want late-term abortions. They are. They are.
Okay, what I'm saying is,
Robert Patillo's here in Georgia. Stacey Abrams wanted late-term abortions. Listen, man, about the lies, PolitiFact checked all the lies. Most of the lies, he said that Kamala Harris didn't pass the bar exam. She didn't her first time. Millions of people don't pass the first time. Millions of great lawyers didn't pass the first 2 or 3 times. That is no harbinger of whether you're smart or not. So I didn't agree with that attack either. But
so let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question.
I get it,
Shelley. I got to ask you, why does Donald Trump keep lying about HBCUs? Today, he talked about how they were going broke, how I gave them a lifeline. He's lying. According to Dr. Walter Kimbrough, who is a 3-time HBCU president, Donald Trump, in 3 consecutive budgets, actually cut HBCU funding. The program Donald Trump cited, his own budget zeroed that program out. It was Congresswoman Alma Adams of North Carolina who actually, I'm not done. It was, it was Congresswoman Alma Adams who put it back in the budget. He's lying. And this is.
I heard you say it. I've heard you say it on your show, so you don't have to go through it again. I heard you say it to the guy that you just showed the video of. I saw the video.
So why does he keep lying?
He's not lying because it's semantics. Like I said,
he is lying.
Issue of issues.
Hold up, Shelley, I'm confused. Shelley, I'm confused. Shelley, hello, Shelley, I'm confused. If Trump's budget zeroes the program out, meaning they want to cut the program, and it requires.
He zeroes it out from the Department of, see, this is what I'm saying, it's semantics. You zero out from under the Department of Education and move it to the White House, and $250 million, which you know went to, under the Futures Act, to HBCUs. Yes, $255 million. See, you're playing semantics.
Wait, I'm sorry, Shelley, what you just said is factually wrong. The program that you're speaking of, no, Shelley, let me help you with facts. The program you're speaking of is $250 million. Only $90 million of that went to HBCUs. The other $160 million went to Hispanic serving institutions. So he's even lying about the number.
Right. So listen, so you said he zeroed it out. So let's go back to that. So now let me finish answering your question, because that $90 million ain't zeroing it out. So let me answer your question. So there's the semantics. Issuesofhighereducation.com, they talked about this, and anybody can Google it listening to me right now, and you'll see the HBCU presidents all said that Donald Trump was good. There's a yes and a no. He was good, and there was some areas where he's taking credit for things that were bipartisan. My answer to that is, well, doesn't every politician take credit for the work of what they sign? Presidents take credit for what they sign into office. Every congressman that voted on the Futures Act, bipartisan, Republican and Democrat, to their constituents and said, I got through the Futures Act. Everyone does it. That's politics. But you said he zeroed it out.
So in your world, Shelley, in your world, Ronald Reagan could take credit for signing the bill to make Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday, even though he opposed it the entire time. But because he signed it, he's going to take credit. Here's the bottom line. Under Biden-Harris, HBCUs have received more money than they ever. I'm not done. Under Biden-Harris, HBCUs have received more money than they ever have in American history. What Donald Trump is saying is a lie. Donald Trump did not provide. He did not provide a guaranteed lifeline to HBCUs. He did not. He's talking about a program that was $250 million, and they provided billions. Come on, Doc.
So by Jerron Case is a man you should go to and ask him what Shelley, I've talked to Jerron, and guess what? The fact of the matter is this here. If you had to compare Trump, Pence, Biden, Harris, it's not even comparison who has helped HBCUs more. Here's the last question I have for you, and I really hope you can answer this question. Before Trump left the White House, we had to be forced out, I sent an email to the White House saying, I need y'all to provide the data of what has been the impact on empowerment zones. No one has presented that. I had a black pastor from Baltimore who was with Trump and with the announcement. 6 months. Hold up, Shelley. I'm going to let you answer it. 6 months later, that brother came on my show and he said, this has been a failure. Robert.
Well, real quick, just what is the impact of those opportunities we have to hop on?
So the data, I've been looking for the data as well, Robert, and I'll be totally honest with you. I can't find the data either, and I don't think many people can. One of the problems that I think exists is that opportunity zones came along, I think the latter part of the second or into the third year of Donald Trump's term. And I think it was not well promoted. I think there were a lot of attacks on it from the press, from the media, from Democrats, and I think that's where it got lost. But I've been asking the same question. The program is there, but I can't find out, many of us can't find out how to get in touch with it. We have people in Atlanta who worked on it. I remember there was a meeting, Coca-Cola, I believe, where a bunch of black businessmen came. They heard a presentation about it. They heard about different areas like Campbellton Road that was going to be under that opportunity zone process. So I have the same question, to be quite honest with you. But the program exists. Now, how effective has it been? I don't know. But I can name hundreds of programs that have been implemented by government that don't work or we don't have any data on.
But Shelley, But here's my whole deal, Shelley. When somebody comes in front of me and touts a program, how great it's been for black people, here's the deal, though. I want to see the data. Now, if the program is as great as they are describing, I will say it, but there's no data to back up the assertion.
My brother, that's a fair attack. That's a fair attack. I'll give you that one fair attack throughout the whole night. I will tell you, though.
Well, first of all, you don't have to give it to me because I got 4 or 5. But go ahead. Here, make your final comment. Make your final comment before I got to go to break.
My final comment is this. I think that it was bold move for him to go to the NABJ. I don't agree with the other panelists who say he shouldn't have been there, he shouldn't have been invited, because you had pointed out yesterday that he had been invited since 2016. He just never went. He decided to go now because it's a good thing to do, right? I don't think that anybody should say he shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have invited him. This is a convention full of journalists who are supposed to ask questions. What I will say is I disagree with you and Robert when you say you would have, because you guys were setting up what would have been a debate with Donald Trump, not a question and answer, which is what it was designed to be. And so I think it was a good thing that he went. I think she is now black. I thought that was mishandled from the very beginning. I would have stayed on the young lady, Miss Scott, not knowing the definition of DEI. I would have pushed her there. I would have kept on that.
She knew it.
Of course she did it, but she didn't answer it. So I would have kept on that. What I'm saying is when you're in these situations and you're in a hostile environment, and clearly at least one, the middle young lady was trying to play it fair, and Harris was trying to play it fair. What you guys wanted was a debate with Donald Trump, and I don't think that would have been bad. If
no, not true. Not true.
I'm talking.
No, it's not true. No, I would say me and Robert wouldn't want to debate. We would actually want him to answer the question. Shelley, we would want him to answer the questions asked. And the bottom line is, what he did was he filibustered, he moved around, and he didn't do it. I know you got to do your radio show. I got to go to a break. We'll have you back. Shelley Winter, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
I'm in shock.
For curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. Look at this video and you be the judge. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat and try it, they don't believe it's their hair. Buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use code ROLAND, that's ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. It's all at curlprep.com. Use code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount.
Weasel out of the September 10th debate on ABC, saying, oh, well, Democrats, we don't know what's going on. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris has said, all right, Donald, I'm showing up. So I'm going to be there on September 10th, whether you come or not. I think, Renita, this is a brilliant move by Vice President Kamala Harris. It is to show Donald Trump as a coward. Great, smart move.
Absolutely. And the thing with this is, I think one of the main reasons that he doesn't want to show up is because they don't know what their new campaign message is. They have been talking this entire time about this being a race between the strong and the weak, talking about how weak Biden was in comparison to Trump. And now that Kamala is going to be the nominee, that framing doesn't work. She's younger than him. She's had more experience, I would argue, that actually applies to the job. She has the stamina. She's smart. And she's ready to go right now. And so I think that the framing that they have, that he has run his whole campaign on has now gone down the drain. I think that's why he doesn't want to do the debate. The other thing is they spent so much money running all of these ads against Biden and spending all this money campaigning against Biden, who is no longer the nominee. So, I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. Folks are pointing out that the Trump campaign is scrambling. Trump himself is scrambling because of the because of the interest around what a Kamala presidency would look like. People are interested to see her campaign. People are interested to try to hit the reset button here and bring back the coalition that was slipping away under Biden being the candidate. So he should be afraid.
Well, absolutely, and I must say, Congo, look, it's great to stand there. Remember when Clint Eastwood talked to the chair at the Republican National Convention in Tampa in 2012? That's what Vice President Harris should say. Matter of fact, what she ought to do is get a Donald Trump dummy and dress it up as a chicken and stand it there and say, he was too chicken to come here.
I think that would be amazing, right? And we know that, some people say you stay petty so you don't have to get petty. I don't think she'll be petty enough to do it, but I would love to see it. But look, the optic of Donald Trump not showing up and giving her the opportunity as a prosecutor to have the largest eyes that will be on this campaign between now and the election, and to just give her an opportunity to freestyle that joint or just answer questions from the moderators, that would be a death knell for the Trump campaign. And so he has no choice. I think he's going to play it because, look, he's hungering for ratings right now and attention. So I think that he was planning to drop out, but I think he's also going to play this out a little bit to keep his name in the news. Will he or won't he? Will they or won't they? And then, show up with the lowest expectations ever. Just not, as Hillary Clinton said, just don't light himself on fire. And people say that he had a presidential style debate and he was great. And that's what he's going to do. So I feel like he's going to show up, but I would just love the opportunity for her to just sit there and prosecute an empty chair, or Trump dressed up as a chicken, some type of physical display of that as well.
Absolutely. Julianne, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think your idea about the chicken is funny, brilliant, ain't gonna happen. Kamala has too much class. She's not going to stoop to his level, and his level is pretty low. I do think that he may or may not show up for a debate. She'll wipe the floor up with him, and that's why he doesn't want to come. They basically completely upended the Trump playbook in terms of what they were planning to do. They were planning to ridicule Biden as old and slow, et cetera. And now they can't say any of that about Kamala. He's been name-calling. He's been on a name-calling roll. I think he called her garbage one day, a bum the other day. Really just all-time low. But where's the contrast on the issues? And if he doesn't show up, Kamala will have the stage on McConnell's right, and she will shine brilliantly for that 90 minutes that they have reserved for debate. But if he does show up, she's still going to wipe the floor up with him and use those 90 minutes to make the contrast that we need to make. It's not about all this little silliness. It's really about the issues. As we said earlier, it's about the Supreme Court. It's about presidential power. It's also about the Department of Education and Project 2025. There's so many things that she can deal with him that he's lying and saying he doesn't know anything about Project 2025. Half of his prior cabinet has contributed to it. He's lying, but then, why are we surprised that Mr. Trump lies? That's his. That's what he does. So I'm looking forward to September.
But here's the deal, though, Julianne. I'm a Congo here. I got to disagree with you. I think this is the problem that Democrats make. Democrats go, oh, it's about the issues. It's about the issues. No, it's not. Here's the deal. You have to sometimes recognize that if you lock and load on issues, it's also about style. It's not always about substance. And I think they have to mock him. They have to belittle him. They have to call him out, because if you only focus on issues on Congo, then it's like, well, okay, fine. Donald Trump is doing all this other stuff and he's loud and whatever. No, you have got to rip into him at every turn. And again, I just think if you only make it about the issues, then you're doing the traditional thing. They got to just constantly hammer him on everything on Congo.
Yeah, I feel that, because these guys are running dirty campaigns. And look, it's not like we're saying we got to go deep and to go really like ignorant and disrespectful in the name, but it's fair to call out everything, relating to age, everything relating to they've taken over the last few days to calling what they're, how Trump and JD Vance are acting weird and it's just very weird. And people are like, oh, that's cute. But no, call it racist, call it ignorant, call it homophobic, call it anti-Semitic, call these, call them what the actions that they're doing, call it deplorable, call what they're doing, they're representing the lowest of the low. Donald Trump is trying to maintain his financial freedom and his personal freedom by running for president. So he's going to do everything possible. And if Democrats just stick to the issues and keep coming off as looking too nice, they're going to look like people who are not ready to fight. So look, I'm not saying they need to come up and make up a whole bunch of things like JD Vance did about, the cat ladies and all this other type of stuff and children, people without kids and all that other type of stuff, but they cannot just stick to the issues. And I think especially with these younger folks who are coming into the electorate, they want to see people who are willing to fight for them, because they've seen people in both sides of the party on different levels denigrate them as uninvolved and so on and so forth. So get out there and fight back hard. And you can do it in a way that isn't stooping down to their level, but you don't have to try to act as like this, like high and mighty. This is a fight. This is a guy who said over the weekend that this could be the last election. He said to Christians, just vote for me and you won't have to vote again. Fight for that. Call that out at every single level. You got to do that. And people want to see that strength. I'm with it.
Well, and listen, what he did, Renita, he called her low IQ, called her trash and all kind of stuff. And so we know what he's going to do. And so, again, I think you have to mock him. I think you have to belittle him. You can still focus on issues, but if you only make it about issues, remember, during the debate, did President Biden talk about issues? Yes. Did Trump lie 30 times? Yes. Who did they say won the debate? The lie.
It's about both. And Kamala does have to deal with the issues because she's in a different position than what President Biden was in. She's got 100 days to go ahead and reintroduce herself to the voters. You can't just assume that Kamala's going to have the exact same policies that President Biden had. She has a chance to set her own agenda, her own policies, and to make known what she wants to campaign about. So, but you're right. It's about both. She's got to lead with the issues, and she got 100 days to communicate what she is actually going to do. But then also the style of it, the way she communicates the issues has to make people feel like she is going to fight for them. And a part of that is being able to take on characters like Donald Trump. I think Trump is so scared, the things that he's saying about Vice President Harris, talking about her laugh, calling her low IQ and all this stuff. That's all he has. None of it is sticking because people know that it's not true. And I think all of this kind of backs up to why the last thing that he wants to do is show up to a debate and debate her, because everybody will see for 90 minutes that she knows what she's talking about. She will get a chance to talk about the issues, and she'll get a chance to say it in a way that lets Donald Trump know she's not playing with him.
Well, and Julianne, we've already seen how her campaign has been far more aggressive than President Biden's campaign was in terms of mocking him, in terms of calling him an old 78-year-old convicted felon. So they've been doing that, and my whole deal is keep it up.
I think that she does have to lead with the issues. I think, however, she can mock him. She can minimize him. When you talk about a 74-year-old getting ready to spend some time in jail, is minimizing him, make the people feel sorry for him or something. So if you really want to send, I think the issues, I don't disagree with either of my fellow panelists. I simply think that the issues are her strong suit. She is a prosecutor. She's well versed in these issues. She's not identical to Biden by any step of imagination. Go Netanyahu about Gaza. You would never see President Biden doing that kind of thing. And then the orange man, to Meredith, say she was disrespectful to Netanyahu. Well, somebody needs to be, given what's going on. And she wasn't disrespectful. She just stated the facts that he did not want to hear. But she's got to lead with issues. But I think there are lots of ways to contrast style. Trump is blustery, braggadocious. She's elegant. And McConnell, we can be above it. We can be above it all. She doesn't have to get down in the mud with him to put him in his place. You know, so and what she projects to me as a Black woman is an elegance, is a style. And I think that when you contrast the two, some elegant woman who basically brushes him off like a fly, you know, like a little fly that's out on her shoulder, bye, 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 bye. I think that when you contrast that with this blustering buffoon who talks loud, who talks over people, who tells lies every minute, I think even Ray Charles is different.
I got you. Listen, Julia, I got you on all the elegant stuff like that. But listen, when you in a fight, you got to be in a fight. And I get it. Yes, she has to speak to issues, but you got to punch that bully in the mouth. And you got to keep punching his ass in the mouth and keep punching him, because the reality is there are people who also vote based upon strength, who's a fighter. And you got to show that as well. So you got to show all of that.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
I'm in shock.
For curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. Look at this video and you be the judge. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat and try it, they don't believe it's their hair. Buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use code ROLAND, that's ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. It's all at curlprep.com. Use code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount.
What's happening?
Hi.
You've been a little busy.
Just a little.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
So we're racking the miles up. Let's talk about how this campaign has turned.
Yeah.
This is a new soap opera, as the campaign turns.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It does feel like a soap opera. I'm sure when they write the telenovela, yeah, it is going to sound that way. But listen, I think that while we never could have scripted this to happen this way, I think that it is the thing that we needed. I think that we are going to turn this thing around. I appreciate what you did with Black men pulling together for the vice president. Obviously, Black women led the way. Joe Taker was the first one to do it, and we did Black women. We just saw white women break Zoom effectively with over 140,000 women.
200,000.
Okay, 200,000. They ended up doing Asian folk for Kamala. They are doing Black queer folk for Kamala.
Latinas did Tuesday.
Okay, so there we go. So listen, I think that we're seeing the level of excitement that
White
we've not
men are
seen.
organizing right now for their cause.
Well, okay. Well, praise God. Let's do a little something. But listen, I need people to do more than the phone calls.
Yes.
It's going to take actually getting out there and doing the work. So I appreciate that these calls have not just been kind of a love fest, but it's been about the money, because it takes money for campaigns to run. But also, it's going to take mobilization. It's going to take conversations. I need those white men not to just show up on the call, but for them to have conversations with other white men. I need those white women that showed up on the call to have conversations with other white women. And listen, I'm not leaving us out of the conversation, because I know that there's still a lot of work to be done in the Black community. Yep. But we have to go from taking those calls and make sure that we get into action. We've got 100 days. That may sound like a lot of time, especially as fast as politics has been moving, but that's absolutely not enough time. But it will be enough in the year of 2024, because we are about to have the first woman president of the United States, and Kamala Harris.
Well, what I've been telling people is you need to be achieving maximum efficiency every day.
Absolutely.
What are you doing every day to advance the conversation?
Yeah.
When we had the text exchange the next day after the call, Win with Black Men normally meets once a month.
Yeah.
Normally they call. I said, no, y'all not. Y'all doing it every week call. I said, so y'all ain't meeting every quarter, once on the fourth Sunday. Every Sunday, like, okay, exactly. I guess we are. So everybody else as well. This is the moment where, and so even if you didn't do any of these calls, you should be mobilizing your 5, 10, 15, 20, your family, your friends, your church member, your neighbors. You don't need permission to do this.
No, not at all. No, and that's the point. I need people to realize, and as I've been out on the trail, I used to say, nobody wants to listen to a politician. The most powerful people, the most powerful voices out there are y'all's voices. Like, y'all are the most powerful because nobody believes the things that I say. They
regular and ordinary folk.
Absolutely, right? But your mama, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your co-workers, they will listen to you. Your lying sisters, lying brothers, they will listen to you before they'll listen to me.
Right.
And so I need people to start to recognize that the power has always belonged to the people. The question is whether or not the people will actually flex that power. This is your chance to rise up and make sure that you're heard and make sure that you make a difference. This will be a victory, not for Kamala Harris. It will be a victory for all of us when we win in November.
And the thing that I tell folk, you may not have money to give. I've been told several people who were talking, a lot of these billionaire Democrats were complaining about Joe Biden needing to get out. I was talking to one guy who talks with 12 billionaires. I said, your 12 billionaires may have given 40, 50 million, 60 million, 70 million. But they only got one vote.
That's right.
I said him and Kamala won with 81 million. I said, so let me be real clear. You might have money, but you only got one vote. Then I tell the people, you may not have any money to give, but your one vote is just as powerful as that billionaire.
That's right. I mean, seriously, it is supposed to be the great equalizer, right? The ballot box. The problem is that Republicans have consistently tried to say we only want certain people to be able to access the ballot box. That is one of the major fights that we are continuously having to wage with the Republicans. Them trying to make sure that we go back to Jim Crow. You know, they've been glorifying it in all ways, and they've been using a black face out front to do the glorifying of it.
And I've said Trump's Project 2025, that document is the most evil document since Jim Crow.
Listen, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's worse than Jim Crow. It's worse than Jim Crow because of this. Because people died, because they went to jail, because they risked their lives, because they were maimed, so that we could get to where we are. So just think about the level of disrespect and the audacity that it takes to say, not only are we going to try to roll all this back, but we're going to play in your face while we do it. They're not wearing their hoods now. The hoods are off, and they are saying, this is what we are going to do to you. Now, if you refuse to pick up the book, I get that it's about 1,000 pages, but you need to go and talk to somebody else that's read the book or something. You need to get online and make sure that you're following trusted sources that will give you little snippets of this, because it is not a game. These people are playing for keeps. That's why we have the Supreme Court that we have right now. And they only want to do more damage. And the only way that they can do it is by taking your voices away. That is why we've seen the movement to make sure that they can suppress the vote, because they understand our power. The problem is that we always give up on our power and say we have none when they know better. They know that we do have the power. And I promise you, they are sweating right now as they're watching everybody come together for a little black girl out of Cali. They are nervous, and that's what I like to see, because they should have always been nervous. Because the reality is that what we're seeing right now is what we've always seen in this country, is for her to ascend to this level. The polls say right now they tied. What it takes for a black woman to get to where a mediocre white man gets to is crazy in this country. You're talking about somebody with 34 felony convictions, a whole bunch more cases pending, and he just happens to be born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Versus a black woman who earned every single thing that she got. And when we talk about her resume, she's coming in as the first black woman to be elected prosecutor in the Bay Area, as the first and only black woman to ever be elected as the Attorney General in the state of California, and potentially the first one ever in the country, as only the second black woman to be elected to the U.S. Senate, and the only black woman to ever ascend to the vice presidency. So don't talk to me about DEI, which we know is code for something else. Basically, we know what this is about. They are about making sure that they continue to hold us down with their mediocrity. But I'm telling you right now, we demand greatness in this country, real greatness, and that is going to come in the form of Kamala Harris.
Well, that's Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I know a lot of y'all call her y'all Congresswoman, but I can actually say that because I'm one of the 700,000 in her district. Just want to let y'all know that.
Which is why I always got to show up.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, you got a panel to go to. I appreciate it. All right.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
I'm in shock.
For curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. Look at this video and you be the judge. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat and try it, they don't believe it's their hair. Buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use code ROLAND, that's ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. It's all at curlprep.com. Use code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount.
How great of a job Harris did. First of all, how your ass wait to Project 2025 to be your last question, and they were actually giving them the rap sign. See, that little silly, so how did you arrive at picking J.D. Vance? Didn't she say she had the longest interview with him? We didn't need to hear that bull crap on the state of NABJ. So again, I just sat there, and so I don't care. I don't give a damn. I saw her. I ain't speak to her. She walked all by her little 5 people, whatever. Harris Faulkner is a joke. Harris Faulkner is at Fox News. They are in the tank for Donald Trump. They want him to win. And so therefore, you should not have had anybody on that stage representing Fox News asking that man questions because of the settlement that they paid. And so I don't care. There's some people out there who say, no, man, I like her. That's cool. That's fine. Listen, I remember I took her because, she needed to be around some black folks. A few years ago, they had the Apollo Spring Gala. So I told her, come on out, roll with me. Went there. And, it was kind of like, ooh, all the black people. It was like, yeah, that's how we actually roll here. But the bottom line is this here, what you heard on that stage, there were no questions focused on black people. There were no questions specific to black agenda. Monique, she didn't ask about maternal health care. She didn't ask about education. She didn't talk about black economic opportunities. She sat there and was like, here you go, Donald. Do what you will with it. It was because the question was so light.
Why did it end at the 35 minutes?
Well, because he claims that, they had him waiting, so it's supposed to be an hour. And so, therefore, they wouldn't extend it. So it's like, hey, y'all on the clock, so that's on you. That's why. But I was told the real deal is, I was told that was the excuse. The Trump folk did not want PolitiFact checking them in real time, but here was the problem. NABJ was doing that on damn Twitter. No, hell no. You need to have their ass on stage with a microphone, and when he finished, say, your lies told? Yes, this. See, you got to check in real time. That's why when Shelley sat there and said something wrong, no, Shelley, you're wrong. I'm fact checking you right here. I ain't gonna come back in 15, 20, 30 minutes. No, you're gonna fact check his ass on the spot.
But
which Jake Tapper and Dana Bash didn't do. Which Jake Tapper and Dana Bash didn't do at June 27th debate. Monique, go ahead.
Yeah, that wasn't a debate. I said that on your show on the night of. I'll just keep saying it. No debate happened. But I think everyone who's on the stage holds responsibility for Project 2025 not being at the front of their presentations, because especially in light of what's his name stepping down yesterday and the Trump campaign acting like they're responsible for that and completely disavowing any connection to Project 2025. And we know that that is all fabrication. And so, I mean, that was, again, just another failed opportunity in a circumstance that shouldn't have been happening in the first place. I don't know what else to say about it.
I mean, listen to this trash tweet. Hey, y'all go to Ben Carson. Robert, listen to this trash tweet. No, I'm sorry, Joe, I'm going to go to you then, Robert. Ben Carson, I commend my friend Donald Trump for going into a hostile environment at NABJ today and answering tough questions. What time does VP Harris get to Chicago? That's right. She didn't show up because most of the journalists in that room already do her bidding for her. Ben Carson, you can kiss my ass.
Ben Carson is so sad. And yeah, Ben Carson is sad. I don't want to spend any additional time on him. I don't know, how do we find these black people? They are broken. But with respect to NABJ, again, I actually thought it was fine to have someone from Fox News on, but her fellow journalists should have been able to counter her. That is what I didn't understand. They did not seem to have everyone on there at the level of a Donald Trump. He is a performer, so you have to be ready with a little performance art as well. What Roland is talking about is also saying, if you had a fact checker on that stage, that meets him where he is. If you are not willing to do that, then you should not have him. They were woefully unprepared for this moment. And, you can have someone from Fox News. You can. But you have to have someone who is willing to ask the questions, and you have to talk to her. Hey, are you willing to do this work? And I'm glad you mentioned CNN. We're putting a lot of emphasis on NABJ, but the fact of the matter is news media outlets, with the exception of this one, don't handle Donald Trump right, because we keep trying to treat him like he is a normal candidate for office. He is not. He is a freak. He is a performer. He is a clown, and he is an expert. Nothing that he did was just random rambling. He's doing it because he's testing out new material. And if we're going to have him on, we have to be ready for it. I'll say it again. We were not ready for it. And for future organizations, think about it. If you are not ready to take him on head to head, it won't matter that you were respectable or whatnot. That's not the game here. Do not let him use your house to disrespect you and all your people in it. You're under no obligation to do that. And we have to grow up and understand what time we are in right now. This is serious business. Donald Trump is trying to undermine our democracy.
Oh, absolutely. And again, though, Robert, when you are dealing with crazy, you know what you're dealing with. You know what you're dealing with. You know you're dealing with sheer stupidity. And so that's what you're dealing with. At one point, when he kept complaining he couldn't hear Harris, and he was like, you're sitting right next to me. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Just sort of just waved at her. And yeah, it was perfect. Rachel was getting underneath his skin. And that right there, Robert, is the point.
Well,
the way you have to get Robert, hold on, Robert. You have to get under his skin. You have to challenge him. He was angry because she came out the gate locked and loaded.
Well, I find it interesting. Much as Republicans talk about DEI as being a bad thing, Donald Trump brought his own DEI moderator. The only reason Harris Faulkner was there because that's the only black woman he knows. And so you have all this conversation about, well, we have to have a meritocracy. We need the most qualified. One conservative black woman journalist. You knew you were going to a black event, and you did Rolodex. Hey, can I get my own DEI moderator there? Not based on qualifications, not based on merit, but based on, well, she's a black woman, and if I have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl here answer me questions, I'm going to look crazy. crazy. Look, in reality, this is where kind of law and media merge, and Monique can talk about this also, that you have to treat these interviews, as I said, like a cross-examination. And as Roland said, you need to have the clips queued up and sync to the questions you're asking. So you say, so Rachel asked a question. It is a direct question, a yes or no answer. He tries to obfuscate. There's a big-ass screen above my head. We play him just saying that. Now answer the question to what we just played. Like as Roland said, you have to treat it that way because we are now a decade in to Trumpism. I think people forget that from time to time. This is not a new phenomenon. He's been running for president since 2014, 2015, when he was going on Morning Joe and pushing his birther conspiracies. We have 10 years of tape on how to play against him. This is like playing against Tom Brady and not knowing he's going to throw a slant across the middle. He's been doing the same damn thing for a decade. How are you not ready for the play that is coming? And I think that when we do the post-mortem on this, and we have many more black conferences coming up between now and the election, I would love for President Trump to attend, but the questions have to be about what your real agenda is for the black community, and be ready to have your feet held to the fire, because they don't do this to anybody else. I'd be damned if anybody shows up at the Jewish convention not talking about either anti-Semitism or support for Israel. You know you're going to have to do it. We let this man slide into the Negro convention, not talk about anything he's going to do for black folks, and then slide out the back door after 30 minutes. I think that's why you're seeing this level of anger.
And Roland, can I add something to what Robert said?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I want to agree with Robert just vociferously, but also add, this is where I think that the professional organizations really should be working together. Just because NABJ is full of journalists, you shouldn't assume that you know how to deal with a criminal or you know how to deal with an agitated, lying witness. But there is training available so that you can do a better job of that. And that is one of the reasons why our vice president is uniquely situated to be able to handle a debate with someone like him. She definitely, as she's been saying in her new speeches, she knows his type. But it also involves a commitment and a decision. Because if he does not answer that first question and you let him get away with not answering that first question, he will not answer any questions. And so you can't have the same time constraints. You can't have the same kind of pity pat. I'll do a question, then you do a question, then you do a question. It has to be that when he rambles, you cut him off and then you say, and back to my question. And you lead him where he didn't want to go on his own. And you stay there until he either says he's unwilling to answer it or he cops a plea and says, well, that's my answer. And then you've got to take the win and say, since you are unwilling to answer my question, I will yield to my colleague. I mean, if you're going to get in the ring with him, you've got to mop the floor. And I don't see that level of preparation happening. And I hope that changes. Robert's here. I'm here. Scott's here. Anybody. And I'm not saying there aren't journalists who can do it. I'm just saying cross-examination is different than even regular interviewing or interrogation. These are not even Oprah moments, and she's the queen of interviewing. This is get your ass. And that is a skill set. And I have not seen it yet. And I agree with my two panelists tonight. If you're not ready for that, don't go in there. Don't do that. It's not for you.
Yes. At the very least, they could have answered with, let the record show, he did not answer my question. You can even politely say that. He didn't answer my question. He lied. Our fact checkers are saying this is a half truth. Whatever it is, being able to just do that in real time. You don't even have, if you don't feel like, hey, this is not a cross-examination, we can't, do the banter. I'm with Monique, but just in case you're not with her, you can at the very least follow up and say, just so you know, that this is what happened here. We're moving on, but he failed to answer this question. We're moving on, but he lied again. You can do that. You can do it respectfully. You don't have to allow him to disrespect you in order to have a fair process. Fair for Donald Trump is holding him accountable.
And that takes preparation. I'm not even saying that that is a fault of these journalists. That is a particular skill, and it takes practice. And I think that there has to be a good deal of preparation. The same way you prepare for debates, I believe the people who are questioning when you're dealing with someone as kind of slippery, and the thing about it is, as I said on your show the night of that other debate, Roland, when you are a pathological liar, you don't have to practice. Anything that comes out of your mouth is what you're saying right then. So he's always ready. But he don't have no boundaries.
Nope. Don't have boundaries at all.
Curl Prep Natural Hair Solutions at curlprep.com.
I'm in shock.
For curls, locks, braids, twists, and even those wigs and extensions. Women, men, and children are loving this line. Look at this video and you be the judge. People line up to see this product in action at hair shows, and when they take a seat and try it, they don't believe it's their hair. Buy the products at curlprep.com. It works on all hair types. Use code ROLAND, that's ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get a 15% discount. Parents, remove the ouch. You will love this system because you can comb the product through your child's hair with your fingers. It's all at curlprep.com. Use code ROLAND, lowercase letters, to get